The California Foundation for Fiscal Responsibility says that the 5 biggest pension funds in the state are underfunded, and unless scaled back, California's budget will be further squeezed. Public employee unions are dispatching truth squads to the state capitol to debunk what they call are quote, myths and exaggerations, unquote, about the burden of public employee pensions it's having on California taxpayers. We're joined by 2 key people in the center of that debate. Marcia Fritz is the president of the California Foundation for Fiscal Responsibility, and Allan Clark is the president of the California School Employees Association, otherwise known as CSEA. So, Marcia, let me start with you. Public employee unions are arguing that this might be the case of Chicken Little. Aren't current unfunded liabilities more a function of a down market, or is the sky really falling?
Well, it's both a down market, but also the liabilities are increasing much faster than what the actuaries ever anticipated. So we simply didn't set enough money aside while they were working, and now we've got a big bubble of employees ready to retire, and we don't have enough money to pay for their retirement right now.
But the numbers have actually gone down. This year, the general fund is going to be, I think it's $3.51 billion for pensions. Last year, it was $3.68.
Right.
So the number is actually going down.
Right. Yeah, that was,
and that's out of an, just put in perspective, that's out of an $88 billion state budget.
Yeah, it's because some of the cost has been shifted to the employees, for the employees to pay more. It's not because the cost has gone down. The employees are just picking up more of the cost.
But the bottom line to the taxpayer is how much are they on the hook for? So at least this year, it's gone down.
Yes.
Also, CalPERS, I guess, a year or so ago was about 58% funded. They're now at 63%, so they're beginning to improve. And I would assume that's a function of both improved market conditions and employees paying more.
Yeah, the market conditions help, but it's just like if you're in a home that you're behind on your payments. We're way behind on our payments. We're struggling to keep up. And I'm aware of agencies at the local level that are even missing their pension payments because their budgets are so strained. So it's getting really bad.
Well, let me ask you, Allan, has the stock market's collapse and the housing collapse revealed some structural problems with California's pension system?
Well, I think the stock market collapse raises the issue that there's issues on Wall Street. The fact that abuses on Wall Street caused this problem to happen in the first place. You know, CalPERS has lost less than most people did on their 401ks through the stock market problem, and has already gained back 80% of what they had lost during the downturn on Wall Street. The thing is that you didn't hear employers or anybody complaining when they were paying zero when Wall Street was working good, but the employees, school employees, firefighters, police officers, all those that are in the system have maintained their payments. I've been paying, on all of the people I represent, 7% of our salary over a long period of time, whether the employer is paying nothing or
well, let me
not.
ask you, I mean, a lot of people are under the impression that public employees are enjoying these 6-figure pensions because you sometimes read about those. What are the real facts?
Well, for us, the real facts are this. That's 1% of the CalPERS system. Most of those, if not all of those, were higher paid management employees. The average school employee has a pension of about $1,100, a little less than $1,200 a month. A school employee who's 4 hours a day has to work 20 years to get 10-year service credit. So basically their pension may be average around $500 a month.
Well, what I read is that 78% of CalPERS payments are $36,000 or lower. Is that fairly accurate?
Well, for school employees, school employee pensions are around a little less than $1,200 a month. The average pension is about $20,000 a year or $24,000 a year for all state employees if you average it in. So you take the low and the high and you bring them together. But the school employees that I represent, the average is less than $1,200 a month.
I want to ask you about a report you did. A lot of arguments have been made about public employees deserving higher pensions because their salaries are less. You did a report that seems to refute that notion. What did you find?
Yeah, I was surprised. We found that the the pension benefits are 3 times the value of what you can find in the private sector. And then when we compared salaries of individual jobs, classifications in terms of education and duties, we found that the public sector employees in many cases were paid even more wages than their private sector. So when you combine the wages with the higher benefits, we're clearly paying more than what the private sector is able to pay.
But there's a differentiation between high-skilled and low-skilled jobs in
Yes.
the public sector. My understanding is that that's truer for low-skilled jobs, but not as true for high-skilled jobs.
Yes, we found that the lower-skilled workers in the private sector tended to make more and get less benefits than in the public sector. But as you go up into jobs like attorneys and top managers, yeah, they were paid less than what you would get in the private sector.
We've only got about a minute left in this segment. Quickly, what suggestions do you have for reforms in the pension area?
Well, for us, we're outraged that anybody would abuse the system. So we're supporting legislating and working with the governor on spiking, double dipping, all of those abuses, which happen to be the 1% that everybody keeps raising issues about. Hundreds of thousands of state workers and school employees have taken rollbacks in pay, furlough days, all those things to save the state money. It doesn't make the front page. Somebody that's in management gets these big pensions. That's what everybody talks about.
So you're on board for some reforms. Now, what reforms? We only got about 15 seconds.
Yeah,
What reforms?
yeah, I agree with a lot of what the governor's doing. I think we should cap pensionable pay. I don't think people should be getting pensions over $80,000 a year. And I think that employees should pay half of their costs. Right now, there's a limit on what the employees are allowed to pay, yet when they continue to ask for more benefits, they're not paying the rest of it. We're paying it. So at least pay half and cap pensionable pay.
Well, thank you very much. When we come back, we'll talk about the politics of public pension reform. That conversation in a moment. This is the Maddy Report.